All right, now we're live.
All
Cool.
right.
Hell yeah. What's up, everybody? I'm monetized. I'm monetized on YouTube. And you know what that means? That means I am scared to lose it because I asked ChatGPT, I said, you know me better than anyone AI. Tell me what I need to know about how to not get demonetized. And it basically said, don't say all the things that you usually say. So we're in a bit of a pickle here.
Aren't you going to say those things so they know what you're talking about?
I'm getting there. Jesus Christ.
Then you'll get demonetized before
I'm
you
still
start.
in my intro phase. This is the intro. And then we're gonna introduce you and then we're gonna have a conversation.
All right.
But I just gotta update the people on the channel because there's at least maybe 100 people that want to hear what I have to say, which is exciting. Because before it was like 40, we're up 60%. These are good margins. You want to stay tuned. We're gonna get crazy, but also responsible. So, first of all, they said the first minute is the most important. And they said cussing's fine, which I don't care about. I'm trying to cuss less. I think it's an indication of a lack of verbose, a lack of linguistic abilities to curse often, and I try to not do that. But sometimes it just comes out. There was no glorifying drugs, so you're going to have to read between the lines, people. Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do them. No threats. That's going to be fine. I don't threaten people online. In person, I probably can't even joke about that. No, I'm terrified right now. I'm absolutely terrified. I'm mortified of what is to come. Because I always get everything I do. I get monetized, things are going good. I sabotage it, it's gone. Did that on Meta. I put a thing in my mouth. It was a hilarious clip. It was, I don't think I can even tell you though. And let's see, no glorifying drugs, no glorifying suicide, no instructionals. They said you can talk about drugs, but you can be like, drugs are bad, but I also did this. But I can't like explain how to make crack, I guess. Which it's not that hard to figure out. I can't help myself. What else was there? No hate speech. No speaking like no anti-Semitism. That's probably going to be the struggle here. And now I'm thinking like, no, I'm going to go the other way. Instead of saying anything bad about those people, I'll just be like, no, they're great. They're the best. They're the master race. Wait, now I just went full circle back to, I don't know. Anyways, we're on tour. I'm here with my buddy Jimmy Kuratz.
Hello. I'm just trying to not hit other cars.
He's driving a car. I'm driving you crazy. And we are headed up to Wisconsin. Not directly. We're stopping about every 2 hours on the way to Wisconsin. Go to elihalpern.net if you are on that path. Oklahoma, Iowa,
Missouri, a little bit of Missouri, Hamilton, Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, and then we got no shows in Minnesota, but that's where we fly out of if the protesters will let us.
Are they still protesting?
I don't know.
We can get some good content.
By the time we get there, they'll be frozen solid. Just push them aside.
Yeah, Minnesota's been insane lately. First, you got the Somalian scams, then you got ICE lady getting shot in the face. Where was the James Pretty guy?
I think that was there as well.
That was there too? What the hell's going on over there? First of all, if you
know what their problem is that they're basically Canadian.
Yeah.
They say if you hang around with the trash, you start to smell like the trash. They're right, same border.
Canadians are usually nice, though. I mean, when their buses are out of service, it literally says sorry. But yeah, they're being from Minnesota is like microdosing being Canadian. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
But I don't. People want to blame the leadership out there. But I don't know. There's more to it than that. I don't feel like I am personally impacted by the leadership in Texas. You know? I think you can explain the overall character of Texans by, well, at least in Austin, by the influential figures that kind of like Rogan and Elon Musk and stuff like that. Although that might just be because that's my world. I'm in the comedy world and stuff, but and the martial arts world, which Rogan's also part of. So I don't feel too much influence from leadership or the governing bodies that be. Oh, dude, look at that! Release all the Epstein files, not Maxwell. That's just on a billboard. That's crazy. I wonder who pays for that.
And now you're demonetized.
Oh no, no! I'm just saying that billboard is bad.
There you go.
That billboard sucks. We need to hide the Epstein files because kids are hot. I don't know. What am I supposed to say?
You're supposed to say that.
Is that the thing to say on YouTube now?
Do you want to get any stuff from this crappy place? And you missed it, anyways.
No.
Okay.
I'm not a gas station food guy. Ever since I went to Europe, man, and I saw the gas station food over there,
Yeah.
and it was high quality stuff.
Yeah.
You look at a plastic wrapped sandwich,
Yep.
and you look at the ingredients on there, and you know,
There was no numbers.
no numbers. It's literally, bro, it's wheat, cheese, eggs,
Yeah.
turkey.
Well,
It just says the name of the food.
people go over to Australia. So I live in Australia, and even though I'm American, and people go over there from America who are like gluten intolerant and stuff, and they go, I could eat the bread over there. Or in Europe. I think it's more in Europe. Australia has some of the same problems with this shit, but they go to Europe and they go, oh yeah, I didn't have any problems because it's like it's not highly processed and stuff. So
Yeah, well, it all goes back to about, I don't know, probably about 5 corporations that make what I would consider the precursor for the bread. They put, it's called acid carbazate or something. It's a ingredient that's in yoga mats.
okay.
So this recently, the news broke on that when they realized that was in Subway.
Okay. Is it for bleaching the wheat or something?
Bitcoin is below 84,000 now.
Oh, that's not good.
Fuck. No, it's a preservative.
Oh.
They're also bleaching the wheat. Those are other components to it. But it's like every iPhone has steel in it from the same company. And if that company sprinkles a little fentanyl in their steel, then everyone's overdosing on their iPhone. That was a stupid example, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
It's like it all traces back to a few companies. And you go over to Europe and you tell them that, and they're like, yeah, that's illegal here.
Mm.
So a lot of the foods we eat on a daily basis are a crime to sell in Europe.
Do you know anything about atrazine?
Turn on the frogs game.
That's right. That shit, when he said that, and everybody was like, he's out of his mind. I had read that research 15 years before he said that.
Yeah, Alex Jones is another major influencer of Austin culture. The first time I ever heard that Beyonce and Jay-Z were reptiles was in an Uber from, I was in an Uber when I was in Austin visiting for the first time, maybe like 8 or 9 years ago. And I was like, this guy's crazy.
Some of those things I'm not buying into.
And
But
years later, I'm like, oh, that guy was right. That guy knew something we didn't.
uh-huh.
But yeah, where did you find out about that?
I don't know, probably just because through my schooling. So before I became a comedian, I was a chiropractor. I mean, I still am a chiropractor. Yeah, so, and then I started telling dick jokes. So anyway, that's probably where I found out about it, just knowing about health stuff. And I think it's the main herbicide that gets sprayed on corn. And they know that even in Australia they use it, and it's turning the lorikeets are becoming transgender. So this is the thing; it fucks with they think nobody's doing research on it because you can't go, okay, we're going to do a double-blind study and we're going to inject your fetus with it and find out if it's causing that problem. So then the company goes, well, you've never done any double-blind research to prove that that happens, so we don't think that that happens, but it's probably happening. Anyways, lorikeets are switching genders in Australia, so it's happening to birds, reptiles, amphibians, and they know what happens in rats, so it's happening in mammals. We're mammals, and so I think that's where the problem's coming from in humans. It's because it affects your sexual dimorphic nucleus and makes it not coordinate with the testosterone levels in your testicles when you're a fetus, and then you think you're one thing even though your body says you're another.
What is a dimorphic nucleus?
So it's just part of your brain where you identify your sexuality. So they know if somebody has a tumor in that and they had to remove it, then they don't really know how they identify. So you can chemically stunt that as well, and probably not just atrazine. It's now I'm speaking a little bit out of my scope of practice here, out of my comedy scope of practice as well. But bioaccumulation of all these synthetic chemicals in our society, they accumulate in your body and then they short circuit shit. And so everything in our body works on biofeedback mechanisms. So if something's imitating testosterone or imitating something else, your body stops making as much of it because it thinks it has plenty. So this is the problem with like estrogens that are in soy milk and shit like that, phytoestrogens. Then if you are drinking those as a male, it'll screw up your testosterone estrogen ratio, I think.
That's why I inject testosterone
There you go.
to balance out the damage that the environment has done to me.
From all the soy you're drinking.
Dude, I had hypoenamel decalcification in my two front teeth. I had these big yellow spots when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And decalcification is an effect of fluoride.
Yeah. Okay.
And just like, they say that fluoride calcifies your pineal gland.
Yeah.
That sounds like woo-woo.
I don't know much about it, but I've heard of these things.
But I have proof because my parents told me. My mom was a dental hygienist. She was pro-fluoride.
Mm-hmm.
She told me there was fluoride in the water supply, and that's good for your teeth.
Yep.
And that is what caused my teeth to have those spots.
Okay. My objection to fluoride was that I had read some research. I can't remember exactly what it was. I mean, this is a long time ago. But it was like, it doesn't cause testicular cancer. But what it does do is it suppresses the function of the thyroid by like 1 milligram per deciliter that it's producing, or something like this. I'm making shit up right now. And then that, in turn, when you are just that little bit lower, there's like a 50% increase in testicular cancer. It was some shit like that. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm not putting shit that doesn't belong in your body. We're already putting so much shit that doesn't belong in our body anyways. I'm not going to add other stuff. And besides, my understanding, again, I'm not a dentist, but your cavities are not because of sugar, it's because the bacteria in your mouth feed on the sugar. So you can have stuff that, like I use coconut oil with a little bit of oregano oil in there, and then that will kill the bacteria. And then it reduces
Yeah,
your chance
oregano
of
is
getting
great.
cavities.
That's brutal.
What?
Swish around with oregano.
No. I do like 5 drops in
You dilute it in the coconut.
in a half cup of coconut oil and a little bit of toothpaste in there, and then each time you're having the tiniest little bit of.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah, if you were trying to straight rinse that shit, it would burn the skin in your mouth, I would think.
Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, so my understanding of fluoride is also, I hope this isn't lagging. We're connected to Starlink right now. This is exciting. I also meant to do that. I got my Starlink here plugged in. We got Wi-Fi anywhere in the fucking world. Anywhere in the world, on a boat in the middle of the ocean, we can have Wi-Fi.
How much does Starlink cost per month here?
It's a flat 120 anywhere.
Okay.
I just paid an extra 25 for 100 megabytes, which I don't know if it'll be enough, and I might have to pay more. It'll have to be $82 a month at that point.
Okay. $82 a month
for the Starlink Mini on top of the 120.
Oh, okay. I think in Australia, because the dollar is so weak, it ends up working out to about 200 Australian dollars or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably equivalent. But so my understanding of fluoride, my perspective is from a spiritual standpoint, if you will, because it ties into the production of DMT, which is how I said it calcifies your pineal gland. The pineal gland is an ancient secret of the production zone of DMT, which is dimethyltryptamine, which is a drug that is bad because then you see God, and we don't like God or whatever you want me to say, YouTube.
That's right. Now you're getting it. You caught yourself. You did very well.
And that affects your. I mean, to me, now when I start speaking like this goes way off of not even pseudoscience. This is just intuition,
Eli science.
Eli science. So the DMT realm is also the afterlife. It is also where creativity comes from. And that effect of blocking you from DMT production, which is released when you're born and when you die, and in small amounts when you dream, I believe. And so it seems obvious to me that fluoride would make you less creative. And less creative can have other rippling and compounding effects that bleed out into other areas of your life as well. Also, do you know anything about DMT and do you have any interest in it?
Me. I know little bits about it from friends that have told me you go to a different universe. However, I feel like my life is so good that I don't want to screw it up by knowing shit I don't need to know.
You son of a bitch. That's the
So
right answer.
this has to do with Ralph Waldo Emerson. One of the things he said is that your connection to the infinite is so pure that there is no need to tamper with it, right? So that when you do all these things to try to make that connection, even if you do, it's not as real of a connection as you would find through something like transcendental meditation. Not that I really do transcendental meditation, but I try to listen to what's going on. I try to pay attention to my intuitions and to that consciousness. So here's the thing. Consciousness, everybody thinks, I mean, we recognize it in this area, right? But everybody thinks we generate it in there. There is absolutely no research that can examine that or even really suggests that consciousness is generated in the brain. So
the brain's an antenna. Consciousness creates the
well,
body.
there you go.
When the egg is fertilized and it emits light, have you seen that?
Well, see, but again, there's no proof of this either because you can't research it. But that's the
Yes,
alternate
they
theory.
put a camera on an embryo, and there's light that emits.
Okay, but but you don't know that consciousness is. You can't tell if it's being generated or if it is a fundamental foundation of the universe. But either way, here's what I will say: when I used to live my life according to I'm generating consciousness, my life was pretty awesome. But the more that I go, you know what? Maybe consciousness is like a stream that's flowing through reality, and I get to dip my head in there occasionally. And the more that I do that, the better my life has been.
Just like Wi-Fi.
Just like Wi-Fi.
We're intelligent light receivers. Because Wi-Fi is intelligent light. It's on the electromagnetic spectrum. It counts as light.
Okay.
And it is intelligent because it contains literal ones and zeros.
Okay.
And emits code that you can tap into with your computer, aka brain.
Yeah. I know nothing about this.
Yeah, I'm very well versed in this stuff because I have been through the realms. So, I mean, I created a whole fucking religion around this.
I remember this.
You know, and it's like, people think it's some kind of joke. It's like, no, I actually believe this stuff, man. I'm very passionate about it because at a young age, I've always searched for answers. I've always wanted to know the truth as long as I can remember.
But that's a problem. You know why it's because you can't know. You can only ask, but you can't. The only things we can know, you can't know, like, why are we here? Who the fuck knows?
I think I know.
Well, why do you think it is? I have an answer.
Entertainment.
Close.
We are here to create the best movie that we get to watch of ourselves after we die.
That's not bad. I like that. I would say that it's for the adventure of the opportunity to pursue joy or happiness or whatever you might call it. But the only thing I'm here to do is to build stuff because joy is the byproduct of growth and of building, right? So if you're never going to know exactly,
we're going to create.
Even if somebody told you that's exactly what it is, you can't know. But the one thing that seems most logical is the idea of seeking happiness, of seeking joy through building stuff. I'll say that is the one that is the most logical. But it's not even worth asking the question of, why are we here? It's more the question of what can I do with it, obviously, which is again still building shit.
Yeah, I think we're here to be mini gods and do a little creation.
Yeah,
That's all I want to do is create
same.
stuff,
Yeah.
creating new words and jokes and songs. And
And how do you
I'm
feel?
not big with my hands.
How do you feel when you're not creating stuff? You feel fucking
I
terrible.
feel terrible, but I wouldn't say I feel joy when I am creating. I would just feel like I don't feel terrible.
Yeah. Well,
I don't really
yeah.
experience joy.
Would you say you feel more like you're in tune with what's supposed to be happening, though? Like if you're building stuff and you're not feeling bad.
I feel like I'm just moving the spotlight from the trash bin over to the fridge.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Well, if you're looking at a trash bin, it's gross and it stinks.
Oh yeah.
But you look at the fridge and you're like, oh, I got all this food in here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I was thinking about this the other night, how the best way to argue with women is to just completely change the topic about, you have to do this tactfully, of course. But and then there's also some time.
Shut up! I'm watching the game.
If they're like if they're mad at you about something, you let it die off a little bit. You let the steam cool off. You give them some space, and then you start talking about other things, and then they forget about the thing they were mad about once you bring the attention and emotion to a new, exciting thing.
My mate actually has the best solution in Australia. He's from New Zealand. He's been with his missus for 25 years. When she yells at him, he just looks at her and he just goes, I love you, Charlene. And then she keeps yelling, and then he does it again, and she just goes, fucking whatever. And that's the end of it. She can't be bothered.
Oh man, my methods are. I used to fuck with them. I would just like start saying things that didn't make sense.
You know,
Like this is why they don't have giraffes in Afghanistan.
This is why. Do I have good advice on this?
But no, hang on. So the point I'm making is that wait, what were we originally talking about?
DMT and how it's bad for you to go to a different universe and see all things and then experience
No,
joy.
it was after that. It was right before the fridge thing.
Experiencing joy?
Yes,
Creativity?
experiencing joy. So same with my dog. If my dog sees another animal and he's barking, I'm like, hey, look at me, look, I got a treat, look at the treat, look at that, you know?
Yeah.
So distraction, I
Yeah.
guess. So it's creation for me is a distraction from the void.
Yep.
I think a positive one at that, because there's a lot of distractions from the void. And I think everything that is a distraction from the void. What is the void? That could be either the DMT realm, it could be the endless abyss of death, it could be all of the questions unanswered that lie beyond our scope of consciousness as living humans.
Okay. I have to admit, I was trying to look at the directions and I missed most of the most important thing you've just said.
Basically, everything is a distraction from the shadow realm, from the unknown.
Oh, yeah?
Because you sit alone with your thoughts, unproductive, uncreative, your mind eventually leads down dark paths.
Does it? I don't know about that.
Okay, mine does.
Like, if I am in solitude, away from the city, and I'm camping, I'm out in the wilderness, whatever it is, and it's just my mind is at ease without all the static and distractions of society, it starts to function better. That's why I moved out to the middle of nowhere, where
Well,
I
you're
live
also
now.
married, so you know that you can come back to someone, a family that loves you.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, if that's where you're sourcing your happiness is from somebody else, you're not happy.
That's true, yeah.
So you have a better chance with less distractions at being a hermit in the woods. And there was a guy in Australia. He wandered out into the wilderness for 10 years. He was like psycho and he couldn't function. He was a drug addict, and he decided, screw it, I'll just go die. And he went out to the wilderness, and what happened was he survived for like 10 years, and when he came back, he was functional by society's standards, I guess, went and got himself a degree, and now he's a counselor and helps people with mental illness.
Wow.
Yeah. And I know another guy who recently major problems with fentanyl, and he's done just a bit of camping. He went out camping, and even within 5 days, he started to go, "Oh, I'm feeling quite different," you know. So, and I want to say, and it was unethical. I think it was the Japanese, maybe in the 30s, maybe in the 40s, and they did this thing with people that were insane, and they took them out and they put them in a cave for like 2 weeks, so it would mess with their circadian rhythm because they were in pure darkness all the time. And then,
Aubrey Marcus did that too.
okay, and then apparently after a few weeks or whatever it was, it made huge differences in their functioning. Have you heard of some shit like that?
Yeah, Aubrey Marcus. You know who that is?
Nope.
Big Austin guy.
Okay.
He founded On It.
I've
On
heard.
It.
Yeah.
His dad founded Fleshlight, which was the first sponsor of the Joe Rogan Experience.
Uh-huh.
And
now it's the sponsor of JJ Lieberman.
He did, I think it was 2 weeks or a month in a cabin.
Oh, but he just did that with himself.
Yeah, in
Oh,
a
okay.
blackout cabin. Wait, who did this guy do the cave thing with?
A bunch of crazy people. They took like 20 crazy people and stuck them in a cave for 2 weeks and went, "We'll see if you die or survive."
Did something terrible happen?
No, they all apparently it made huge. I don't know. I can't remember. I just remember reading about it briefly, a long time ago, and it made a difference. But it's considered unethical. You can't take people and be like, "Hey, you're psychotic. We're just gonna stick you in a cave by yourself."
I mean, that's pretty much what prison is.
Yeah, but they were all. Yeah, I suppose so.
Do they have food?
But they were in darkness. The big thing was,
They feed them?
yeah, but they were in darkness, so it messed with their circadian rhythm had to reset. It had something to do with that, and that has to do with, I think, with pineal gland and shit like that. I think there was something else. You were saying Fleshlight. Oh, that guy. That's what you were talking about. I got stuck on Fleshlight.
Man, maybe I need to do that then. Because the way while you were explaining all that, I was like, oh, maybe I'm just mentally ill and you're not.
Well, okay, so Ralph Waldo Emerson, he's my favorite. He's the only thing I read is this Ralph Waldo, and I read his one essay quite a bit, and it's called Self-Reliance. And one of the things, his understudy was Henry David Thoreau. So these are like two of the great American authors from like 1840. And Henry David Thoreau wrote Nature and Civil Disobedience. And I think Thoreau and him were quite good friends, or they were quite good friends. He was his pupil. He went, so there's a pond called Walden Pond, and it's in Connecticut or maybe Massachusetts. And it was on the land owned by Emerson. And Thoreau went out and built a little tiny cabin that wouldn't have been much bigger than this car. And he lived in it for 2 years, and he would do his fishing, and he would grow his crops, and he probably went to town occasionally, but he lived out in solitude. And he talked about, how solitude made this huge difference, and that the real test of a man is, can you take this inner peace and this solitude and go back to the distractions of society and still maintain your lust for life and your creativity? And you can for a while, basically, but it becomes exceedingly difficult the more that you're around the hustle and bustle.
See, I feel like solitude is more harmful for mental health.
I don't know.
First of all, I've heard that a lot, and from personal experience, when I stay home too many days in a row, I start getting really down.
I'm talking about solitude from society. You're removed. The first 2 weeks is kind of torture. Like, I moved to a small town in the middle of nowhere on a 5-acre property, and we're not even in town.
And I guess scrolling up your phone cancels that out.
Well, there's that as well. But you have to, the thing is, it's like with any change is uncomfortable. Anyways, change is really uncomfortable, and it's fucking torture. When I did my comedy tour last year, Gareth and we did our first 4 weeks together. Then I was in Austin for 6 weeks by myself, living in the van. I'm not a person who experienced this depression. Dude, it was fucking torture. And I was still in the city, but I was like all alone, living in the van, and I didn't have shows every day. I only had shows on the weekends. It was fucking torture. It's a horrible experience. But you come out the back end of it going, oh, I survived that. So now going on the road for 4 weeks with you, and we're going to do this. It's going to be done in a blink, and it won't be as bad as that, right? Best thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. We lived in an abandoned building in England in the middle of winter. We ran out of money and had to live in an abandoned building. And the first 3 weeks, it was truly abandoned, no running water and shit like that. But it was the worst thing to ever happen in my life. But also now, like when people are going, oh, you're having some trouble with this or marriage or comedy is hard to do. I lived in a fucking abandoned building. After that, everything is easy. And I did that by choice, to be honest with you. I could have begged my parents and be like, buy me a plane ticket. My father actually said, I'll buy you a plane ticket and send it to you and you can come home. And I told him I would rather die in London than accept a plane ticket from you. Like, I'm not fucking coming home like that. And then, unfortunately, we did lose all our money. We were able to get plane tickets and come because we got back on our feet. But then it all went south again because we kept fucking up, right? Like, if you have fucked up outcomes, it's only because, your thinking isn't right, which means then your actions aren't right, and then you get fucked up outcomes. Or even if something fucked up happens to you, you can think about it in a different way and go, no, this is the best thing. I'm going to make the best of it. Well, I did not have that mindset.
So my
everything's fun.
My mindset's always been, I think the worst thing is going to happen always.
Well, then that's what happens.
But it doesn't. Then I'm always pleasantly surprised.
Oh, well, all right.
Because then when I walk through life like this, all this is going to work out, I'm just disappointed, just getting beaten down.
So you're doing that on purpose as a mind game, though.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's different. That's I like that. You can trick yourself. It's the whole that thing. But when people actually have that locked in negative thinking, it's like so I know somebody very devoutly religious, and good on them for it, right? But they believe within their religion that a rich man can never get into heaven, which is an inaccurate interpretation of what it actually says, but that doesn't matter. So this is what he believes. So he had a chance to get a raise and to be managing things, which would have, meant he had more money. But he already felt like, I already know I'm getting into heaven with the money I'm not making. So he didn't accept that promotion because he was worried it could affect his ability to get into heaven. Right? So my thinking affects my actions, affects my outcomes. So now he still doesn't have any money, and then you get the struggles that go along with that. But then they go, but that's, the more struggles you have on earth, the better heaven will be. You'll have a bigger mansion or whatever. Okay, fucking. So our thinking determines our actions, which then predicts the outcomes. It can't be any other way. It can't be any other way. It's very cause and effect. And that is a law of the universe.
And that's why I was an alcoholic and a drug addict for so many years, because there's no easier way to change your mindset than artificially.
Does it change it for the better?
It did for me.
What do you?
I mean,
how do you define better?
I was an alcoholic for 7 years.
Yeah.
And I just had supreme unmatched confidence that I could just do anything. And I just walked through life doing whatever I wanted. Everything worked out. And the things that didn't work out, they were still adventures and they were still fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't until I stopped drinking where I started really, really not liking who I am and realizing that I suck, and then just kind of losing all the will to live and all the steam to life. And now I just kind of drag my feet through existence, just hoping something might happen that feels good for a little bit.
So, but if you choose to control now, you could?
I could do it without substances as long as I have slept well, hydrated, eat healthy, exercise, do comedy, make a song, hang out with some friends, all of that.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's definitely possible.
So
it's a lot of work, and a lot of things have to go right.
It's a lot of fucking work. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But it's either you can say success at this level. Yep, I'm willing to accept that. That's success. But I think that the potential, we are going to stop and get some food and stuff now.
And that's just to maintain a level of happiness. That's not even to succeed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know how I define success? Very simply, because I think that it gets too confusing. Because there's different types of success, health and finance and blah, blah, blah. Success is merely a task completed. That's it. And if you line up a lot of those tasks over a period of time, then you go, okay, overall successful, or in this particular realm at whatever it is, health or finance. Those are only two coming to mind. That area you have success. But then you're super successful. I'm a multi-millionaire lawyer. Yeah, how's your family life? Oh, I haven't talked to my son and whatever. Like nobody talks to me. I haven't passed on my philosophy about life because I'm busy working 100 hours a week. So you get like three priorities at once in life. You can't be doing everything. So Elon Musk, great with business. I get the feeling he's not a onboard parent because he's doing too many hours. How the hell are you going to even be there? So the constricting, the restricting element is time. It's like the idea.
Groceries out of here.
We go to a proper place for food if you want.
Yeah. How do I open this thing? Inject some roids here. This doesn't get me banned. The power. I just push this to close it? Oh, nice. Robot. Wait, no, my groceries were behind the seat the whole time. I could have been sipping on that chocolate milk. All right, I'm ending this stream. I'm going to see if